Hello, mofos.
Hi.
Um, I got a question for you. I'm gonna put on these glasses, and you're gonna
Hmm.
tell me if I look like a cop. Okay,
Depends on
so
if you start like beating people.
if somebody,
A little bit, yeah. What are those aviators?
so if I, yeah, they're aviators.
Those are like 2001 Jersey Shore like extraordinary bangers right there.
But do I look like a cop?
Yeah. Yeah, you
Okay.
do. Like
Back,
if you threw a badge on that shirt or like
yeah.
any type of hat on, it's a wrap.
Back when I
You'd be allowed to arrest somebody.
back when I worked as a car salesman,
Hmm.
one of my customers just randomly gave me, like, I think he worked for the NYPD um forensic unit, which is actually pretty cool. Like he gets to do the crime scene.
That's like the Law and Order, like dead bodies and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's like the fingerprinting, like the DNA evidence.
Hmm.
Like so, he was doing the serious like the serious scientific shit.
Yeah.
And so he brought me an NYPD. It was almost like a golf shirt,
Yeah.
but it had a NYPD logo and it said forensics unit.
Hmm.
And then one day I put it on and I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Damn, I could definitely pass for a cop."
Oh, for sure.
Definitely would scare the shit out of people. If I'm walking around like that, they'd be like, "Oh, this motherfucker's gonna give me a ticket."
The shit that gets me tight is when there's cars that look identical to cop cars and they even have like that. Well, one you could see in your rearview mirror sometimes like the headlights and you're like, I don't know if that's a cop or a cab or just like a
Yes,
town cruise or some shit.
yes, or a fucking Chevy Impala from like 2009.
Yeah, Chevy Impala. So
Yeah,
like you start slowing down and then you waste like 5 minutes and that person comes up and it's just some like old grandmother or some shit or like some Spanish dude
yeah.
who's just got like a Chevy Impala still.
They,
like
they should
but
have rules. Like a
they
cop should
should.
have their own shit. Like that's
And
the only shit. It's only made for cops. That shit.
yes, and they have their own looking lights and stuff like that, where like that those are cop lights.
Yep.
Like cops, it shouldn't be some sneaky shit to get a ticket. Like I shouldn't see like driving on the highway and a cop like hiding in some like camo shit in between the lanes. Like if you're gonna like get me speeding, do it because I was just speeding. Like don't be on some like crazy trap shit because that's fucked up.
And be
That's
lenient
not your
with it.
job as a cop.
Be lenient with it too. Like if somebody's obviously driving at an unsafe
Yeah.
speed, like yeah,
Mhm.
pull that motherfucker over. But if
No, but
somebody's
it's
going
one thing
five
to
or
like.
10 over,
Yeah, well, I'd be mad about that shit too. But the shit that gets me tight is when I'm driving on the highway and I'll like look back and I'll see them in some obscure place that like a cop shouldn't be. Like you could see that
yeah,
they
yeah, 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 yeah. Or
carved
they're
that shit
hiding
out.
out.
Like
Yeah.
like that's fucked up. Like when they say that cops give tickets at the end of the month or whatever to hit their quota,
Yeah.
and then you ask a cop who's like the cool cop in the neighborhood, you're like, do you guys do that shit? He's like, nah, it's not true. That shit's true.
Yeah, it's
They do
probably
that
true.
shit.
Yeah. I
Because they
had a
gotta fucking hit
realization
budgets
though.
and shit. They're a fucking job just like anybody else. Like they run numbers and fucking try to get money for their town. So to say that they're not giving out tickets to hit a quota is fucking bullshit. So for them hiding and doing shit sneaky to try and give you a ticket, that's fucked up. Like we pay you motherfuckers to just protect us.
I
Don't
had
be
a
like
real
playing hide and seek with us.
I had a realization though that cops, like I used to when I used to see a police officer like 8 cars back. Like you know how
Hmm.
you catch in the rearview mirror and like you see the cop but there's so many cars in between?
Hmm.
I used to still like tap on the brakes and try to slow down because
Yeah.
I always felt like I have the kind of luck where this motherfucker would dip out around and then come back and get me and skip everybody else even if they're breaking laws too. Like that's
Yep.
how I would think. But then I had a realization one day because I drove by a cop in the exact type of shit you just described where like they're hiding out and waiting to nab somebody.
Hmm.
And I've driven past cops in situations like that where I'm going 10 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, and then I tap on the brake to try to make it good, but I don't get it to the a good enough speed fast enough. But
So you're
then I
like, I'm
did,
gonna get got.
but then I didn't get tickets. It's happened a few times, and then I
Hmm.
had a realization of like, well, hold on. A lot of them, like, they're only going to pull people over when they're looking for people to pull over. Like,
Hmm.
that motherfucker might have been sitting in his car eating a sandwich. And
Yep.
he might have seen me drive by going fast, and he's like, fuck. And then he thought, I'm not in the mood. Like, that's because it's a person in the car.
Mhm.
But like you said, and this is why I definitely agree, I think they do have quotas, is that by the end of the month, you always see them pulling more people over because they have a budget and they have to meet a certain amount. And so, but I had that realization that they're definitely like people in the sense that if you were a cop, I was a cop, like how often we just sit there and be like, I don't want to pull this motherfucker over right now.
I'd do that every single time. Because the work that has to go into it, you got to follow the guy for like 4 blocks.
And you don't know who the fuck you're pulling over?
You don't know who you're pulling over. Like, you could go anywhere from like an elderly ass bitch that like is just elderly as fuck and was just like ran her stop sign because she didn't see the shit. And then you're going to have 20-minute conversation with her about how she ran a stop sign that she didn't even see.
Yeah.
So she's acting like she didn't even really run the stop sign because she doesn't think she ran the stop sign, but she actually did. And then she's going to get turned into a grumpy old woman. And you just got to have that whole interaction.
Yep.
When you could just be sitting in your shit with that little laptop on the side, whatever, on Facebook, beating off, chilling.
So here's a question. Here's a controversial question. Do women have it easier or harder in a situation where a cop pulls them over?
Easier, 100%, 100,000 billion %. Any woman who tries to Me Too this shit and say that it's not true, they're lying.
So what's your argument as to why they have it easier? Because I'm on the fence here.
They can cry. They can say they have to go.
Like, do you think the male cops, most of the time, they'll look at the woman and like the woman just has to flirt or the woman just has to cry or something and then they'll feel bad and they'll let him off? Is that what you think? Well,
the majority of cops, I mean, from what I know or have ever gotten pulled over, are men. Yes. So they don't, and they're like manly men. So they try to maybe sympathize more with, or they don't understand women as much. So if a woman hits them with some shit that they don't understand, like, oh, it's that time of month, like I'm bleeding down there or some shit and I gotta go.
Period, excuse.
Yeah, like something like I can't be like,
I'm bleeding from my vagina. Yeah, I can't take
I can't say my dick is bleeding. He's gonna be like, dude, that's never happened to me before. Like,
my dick is bleeding. Imagine trying that. You get pulled over. You're like, officer.
You won't believe me, man.
You're not gonna believe
it's that time of month.
My dick is bleeding. Actually, he would let you go if he really believed you. Like, what happened? Your dick is bleeding? Be like, yeah, I just cut it with scissors or something.
Yeah, but like there's so many out cards that a girl could play that a guy can't play that many. You know, like what are you gonna say? It's on some shit where it's like he knows everything you're gonna say.
So the counter argument is women definitely feel in a situation like that. Women definitely feel more vulnerable in the sense that like a cop, like a male cop, like a masculine cop, like you were talking about. Like, they really do have total control of the situation if it's a woman, and that can be intimidating, especially if the cop is kind of corrupt and creepy and might be trying to do some sexual shit.
Yeah.
So that's the flip side of it, is like that there's a bigger downside for a woman.
No. What's the downside?
Well, the downside is
that the cop's creepy, and you're gonna have to put up with some
hashtag Me Too shit. You know, you never know.
Girls have to live with that shit 24/7.
No, I know, but I'm saying
every day.
But the flip side of that is, like, it could be easier for them in the sense that they get more sympathy than a man would. Because if the cop is a man, then they know, like, they're like, motherfucker, I know, like, what you're doing if you're a dude. Like, yeah, you were speeding. Don't try to fucking say anything. You know what I mean? Like, so there's less sympathy in that sense. I feel like growing up, I heard more cases of women getting off from tickets than I heard from men getting off from tickets. Like, I've heard friends say, like, yeah, I got a ticket. And it very rarely does it end with, like, yeah, I said something, and then he was like, okay, you get a warning or whatever. Have you ever gotten a warning? I think I may have gotten a warning, like, once.
I've got a couple warnings.
Which is nice of them when they do that, because it's like...
I think the warning is almost like you didn't really fuck up, but I need to pull somebody over, and if you were a dick, I would give you a ticket.
Exactly, yeah. Like, that's them kind of letting you know, like, I fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I just met you now, and you seem okay, so okay.
Yeah. I got a warning once when I first moved out to Illinois. I still had my New York plates on, but hopefully this cop doesn't listen to the fucking shit, because he'll be like, fuck, I knew I should have wrote him a ticket. But, I got pulled over for, I think I was texting or on my phone, or I might have been on my phone, and I still have my New York plates, but I've been living out there for a minute, and I'm lucky because I had like the town that I lived in sticker like in my window, and if he was a good cop, he would have did some investigative shit. Like, so I told him, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, officer. Like, you know, I was calling somebody for directions because I didn't know where I am. I'm from New York. You can see by my plates." So I sort of G'd him with that. And then he was like, "All right, I'm gonna let you go."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, thank God." And then when I left, I remembered that I had the town sticker like on my car.
Oh.
So I was like, "Yo, if I hit him with that lie," which I did, and then he was like, "Well, why do you have that sticker on your car?"
I'm a tourist and I like it here.
I would have been got, and then I would have been out in handcuffs and all that shit. But the crazier thing is my brother-in-law is full black. Like, black people, Spanish people don't have that leeway. Like,
well, that's what I was just about to say. Say, is it totally white people shit that, like, the warning thing? Like, would a black or Spanish person listen to this and laugh at the thing I just said about a warning? Because
I think so.
That's like, is that like the white person's grace shit? It's like, I don't think you're a criminal because you're white, you know, so I'm going to let you off. Is that what it is? Because, I mean, there is an argument for that, especially because, like, I've seen the thing that really hit me like a ton of bricks on that issue was the statistics on stop and frisk. And first of all, it's like some insane percentage, like 99.9% of the time or something like that, or 99% of the time. I don't forget the exact number, but it's really high. They don't get anything.
Who's this? What, white people?
When they stop and frisk. You know, the stop and frisk policies.
Yeah.
And then it's overwhelmingly used on minorities. So
that small percentage is probably planted shit too that cops put on them, because don't they
do
that?
some stuff I'm sure is planted. But so like basically the whole point of the law is to just be able to stop minorities and like frisk them and like make sure they don't have anything, which is crazy because
that's such a fucked up fucking law.
It's such an obvious violation of their constitutional rights because we're supposed to be equal under the law, which means if you're going to do stop and frisk, at least in theory, you're supposed to have people like if you frisk the assholes on Wall Street, guarantee you so many of them have cocaine.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying frisk the Wall Street people. I'm just saying also don't frisk people in the minority communities. But it was the statistics on that I was like, holy shit. Like, there's an over-policing issue in certain areas, and that's why they probably... I don't know. I would guess that people have not... If you're black or Spanish, you probably don't have that thing.
Yeah,
I got off once.
Yes, I mean, I spoke to my brother-in-law about this, and I was like, when you get pulled over, like... I told him, when I get pulled over, like, I can almost hit the cop with... If I'm a little unsure of what I did, I can almost hit him with some question shit, like... Why are you pulling me over? Like, and be like a little assertive, like, you know, like, I don't think I did that, you know, and like him have to like come back with something like, no, you did. Here's the reason why, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, if I get pulled over, it's yes, sir, no, sir. Like, it's a wild like dynamic that like we should all be fucking equal. We should all be allowed to say the same shit to the same cops, whatever, you know, but like he's got to get brought up like knowing different driving, you know, like knowing he can't say some shit to a cop.
Yep. The 2 times I had a shitty experience with a cop. One, I got pulled over and he said I was on my cell phone and I wasn't. And he was trying to, and this cop was black too, and he was trying to hit me with some he's 100 shit. Like, no, you were on your, and I was like, no, I literally went to court and contested it on principle. Like, no, fuck you.
I feel you.
And I brought my fucking cell phone records. I was like, look, this is the time he pulled me over. I was not on the phone, plain and simple. And actually what happened was I was driving, and I always drive with one hand. So I had one hand, and this was when I had a Chevy Blazer. And so the center console, like you could rest your arm on that. So I was driving like this, sitting like this, and I was rapping along with the song. And so when I got pulled over, he was like, you were on your phone and started getting a ticket. I was like, I wasn't on my phone. And he was getting mad at me. And he was trying to sun me, and I was like, I wasn't on my phone. So that was one shitty experience I had with a cop.
Hold on, so do you remember because those my mom's been to court, and she's tried to be on some shit where, like, I'm going to fight this, and they're always just like, boom, just like, were you able to show your records and, like, fight for your shit?
I didn't even have to.
Yeah, they just chopped it. They were just automatic.
As long as the cop isn't there, they reduce it. because you managed to show up. But you always have to pay the surcharge, so you always have to pay for just going into the court. But it was $50 when it was going to be like $200 or $250 or something.
Yeah, you were on some Tom Cruise like show the air marshal fucking shit. Like you had your records ready to go. I
was ready with my like Glenn Beck conspiracy chalkboard where I draw out like see. And then what happened was, so that was one, and then the other bad experience, and this was interesting because me and my friend. I was wearing like a bandana type shit. Mm-hmm. It was like the summer. I was in a wife beater. Mm-hmm. I was wearing basketball shorts.
You used to rock a bandana like the dude from what's that?
The Crips.
Yeah, that. No, there's that viral shit of the guy wearing the red bandana. I can't even think what his thing was, but keep going, my bad.
But I had the bandana on. It was the summer, so I was tan as fuck, smoking a cigarette. This was back when I smoked. Friend, similar look. I think he had a fitted hat on, but we're both white kids. Mm-hmm. But the cop pulled us over, and I was like, damn, is this what it's like? How it's like to be treated by a cop when you're a minority? Because he pulled us over, get this. He gave us a ticket. I wasn't driving, I was in the passenger seat. For loud music.
That's wild.
And I've never seen anybody more, he was so aggressive. Like, the cop was so aggressive in that we couldn't say anything. He wouldn't let us say anything. It was one of those situations. It was really weird. And then I didn't piece it together at the time, I don't think, but later on I look back on the situation and I was like, "Oh, it's cuz we look like what he thinks are punk kids. Like, oh, you're a punk kid. Like, you're going to wear a bandana, a little fucking white boy from the suburbs, that's what you're going to do? You're going to wear a bandana? Well, fine. I'm going to fucking give you a ticket and treat you like a piece of shit."
I once got pulled over by a guy. There used to be a guy who played cards with us who was a cop. His name was like Rob the Cop.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Mm-hmm.
I got pulled over by him once.
Oh, he definitely let you off.
He let me off the shit. I was like, dude.
We play cards
You're
together.
a degenerate gambler. We play at the same illegal shit together. So bust me on some shit. I'm coming right to the police house right now, and I'm ratting your ass out. I didn't say any of that shit, but I was just like, yo, Rob, can I get off this shit, man? And I think he let me go. I also once got pulled over, and I just came back from like DR or something. I had my brother's ID in my wallet, and the cop tried to say some shit, but he let me go too. Just like don't have that or something like that.
Oh, but he knew taking one look at it because you look enough like your brother that if a cop sees you for the first time, he might.
No, because I pulled my shit out and like his was still in there, and he was like, "Well, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh fuck." And I was like, I was just in a country, whatever. It's like 18 to drink or some shit.
I had a fake ID, but I don't remember who it was.
Fake IDs for us back in the day, you used to be able to chalk those shits. Like my brother could like chalk a fake ID.
Oh, so take your ID and change your birthday.
Yeah, and some people who had like a better number, like you feel like the like 88, you could turn into the 80, and like get rid of the like little space in the 8 a little bit. But that was what people used to do back in the day, was like chalk an ID. You would just legit like get some. I think the color was in red, and you would just do the red on the ID, chalk that shit, and that's what everybody did. But now the IDs have like that line going through it.
Yeah, I just had a fake one. I
never understood how bartenders, not bartenders, like bouncers.
They don't care, man. It's just plausible deniability, I think.
Yeah, they don't care. And then you're telling me, Kyle, you know what a fucking ID from Montana looks like?
Yeah, no idea.
You know what I'm saying? You're a bouncer at a bar. Someone comes with like a fucking
idea.
Utah ID.
Yep.
This shit could be totally wrong. It could have like no picture on it. And then they were like, "This is my ID. This is what we use in Utah." Like they put the wrong dates on this shit too. It doesn't even say I'm 21. You'd be like, "That's what they use there?"
It's all about being assertive. Yeah.
Being assertive. And
yes,
like,
this is what we use. What are you talking about?
You go to a fucking bar in New Jersey or some shit. That guy's never left New Jersey. He doesn't know what anything but a New Jersey license looks like. So people who bug out about like, "Oh my God, I don't have an ID. I don't have a fake ID." Buy some shit from fucking Montana or Kentucky or Iowa or fucking Mars, and you could go to any bar you want to. That's a bro tip.
You know what this reminded me of? Talking about IDs, McLovin.
He's like 50 something on like the real ID. They always do that every year.
He put McLovin on it. They were like, "Why the fuck did you put McLovin?" And he's like, "I don't know. It's like Madonna. It's one name. Sounds cool."
Do you ever see on Twitter? They always do every time that birthday comes up. I think
I
the
haven't
ID,
seen that. No.
yeah, they like sometimes will post that ID picture and it'd be like McLovin is like 40 something today or something like that.
That was a good movie. I like that movie. It made me giggle.
Yeah, that was a solid one. But I had a thing with a cop once too where I was 100. Like I was going to the airport and everybody waits on the shoulder at the airport. It's just a given. So like if you're given a ticket for that shit, you're just the most fucked up cop ever because everybody in the world does it. So I was going to the airport and I had like my dad in the car, my brother in the car, my sister. I think we were picking up somebody, or maybe it was Molly and maybe someone. And they weren't in yet. So I was going. So I went through the toll lane, and right to the right is where everybody waits. I was like, I'm gonna wait. So I started to go, like I was starting to do it, but never crossed the line. The cop pulled me over. It was like, you know what you did? And I was on some you shit. I was like, no, I don't know what I did. And I was like 100. He was like, I'm gonna wait here until you tell me what you did.
Oh, don't even fucking play games.
Like on some power shit, because he saw that like my dad was in the car. He saw I had a full car, and I was being assertive. Like I didn't do anything. So we waited for mad long. He was like, you're not gonna tell me what you did. I was like, I don't know what I did. And then eventually I was like, I'm like, you might have thought I went over the line or some shit. He was like, did I think it?
Ugh,
I was like, okay, I went over the line. He was like, that's all I was looking for.
that's a power tripping dick.
He was a dick. He didn't give me a ticket though. But then when I left, my dad was like, he just wanted to hear you say what he wanted to hear, that you went over the line. I was like, but I didn't go over the fucking line.
What, like, here? That's not. You're not contributing to good in the world if that's what the
No.
fuck you're focused on. Like, if
No.
you're a cop and you're, fucking arresting murderers and shit, you're a hero. But if you're a cop and you're fucking pestering people because they are waiting on a shoulder, it's like, what the
What
fuck
other
is wrong with you?
profession could you do that in? You like go to McDonald's and you're like, yeah, I'll get a Big Mac with fries, and they're like, what do you really want? I'll take a Big Mac with fries, dude. And I don't think you want that. Fuck, give me a chicken sandwich. Exactly, motherfucker.
And it works. The mind tricks work. Like, damn it, he's good at this.
No other profession can you just son somebody like that. Like just because you got a gun on your waist that you could like just say whatever the fuck you want to people, and
Yeah, that's so true. That's so
you
true.
you can't like go to a newscaster and be like, that story about the dude dying, getting hit by a car. Nah, just say he's still living or some shit. Like what? You can't just change people's fucking facts.
Son, you know where I went this week? I went to an amusement park for the first time in like forever. And
I'm torn on amusement parks.
you're a fan of them, you said?
I'm torn.
Oh, you're torn on them.
Yeah.
So let me tell you my experience. It was funny.
Yeah.
So we get there. We're with, my niece and nephew.
Mm-hmm. Which was it, Playland or was it
Yes,
Six
it was
Flags?
Playland.
Yeah, Playland. I fuck with Playland.
So we get there, and I think first we went to... Okay, first there was an adult-ass ride. I don't know the name of it. The music something or whatever. But what happens is...
Is it a roller coaster or the shit that spins you around?
Spins you around.
I hate that.
So you sit in it, and
It's like a UFO, right?
Yeah, the shape of it is kind of like a UFO, but it just struck me as just like a roller coaster looking circle, basically.
Yeah.
So you sit in it, and it starts going in circles, and then it speeds up to some ridiculous speed, and they got this loud ass music playing, like almost like loud, like you're in a club type loud.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stops, and then it throws you in reverse and sends you really fast in reverse. Oh. And I'm saying super fast to the point where I recorded a little bit of it, and I looked at the video, and I was like, you can't see shit because people are just going so fast. And so my mom went on that.
Oh, damn. Mad props to her.
I was like, is your like neck okay? Because you can get fucking whiplash on that shit easy.
I think that shit's called the Mind Scrambler.
Well, that should be what it's called, but this one had something to do with music. They like incorporated some music shit in it.
Oh, maybe they changed it. I went there when I was like 6.
But
her neck was getting thrown around.
No,
like a motherfucker.
she said no, I'm good in that sense. But when we went in reverse, I started feeling sick at a certain point. So I was like, God damn. So the adult ride looked, honestly, I looked at that and I was like, I don't know how anybody would find that enjoyable. like why is that enjoyable? But it was intense. I looked at it, I was like, that shit is intense.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went to the kiddie section for the kids. Son, it was hilarious. The rides are just like, like a dragon or something like that. Like a little dragon. You put the kids in the dragon.
Or like those little airplanes that just go like...
Or little airplanes, exactly. And that shit is just like... Super... I'm talking like less than 10 miles per hour slow. No bumps, no nothing. Some of them go like up and down a little bit. Some of them just go in a little circle. There's one, I think probably the funniest one was the boat ride where you get in a boat.
Oh, yeah, I know that shit.
And then it just goes in a circle, and it doesn't even go fast. And I was looking at this like, I don't... At what age do kids go, this shit is stupid? Like, why am I doing this? And I'm not... And by the way, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not trying to be Mr. Grumpy Pants over here and take the joy away from the kids, because I actually liked seeing the joy in their faces.
Some kids, you could look at them on those rides, and their faces are just... Like, I have nieces and nephews that sit on those rides, and their faces are just like...
That's so true, because my nephew went on the adult ride first, and then he went on all the kiddie rides, and you could almost see in his face he was like waiting for more out of it. He's like, all right, is it going to speed up more? Is it going to do something crazy? And it was just so funny to watch these little kids doing these simple ass rides, and it's like, I don't know how people can enjoy that. And then there was another one, it was just a big slide, like you just climb up like 40 feet.
I think I know that one,
and
like
then they
fun
give you
slide or some
like
shit,
a burlap sack, and then you just go down the slide.
But that's not for little kids though, right? Or little kids were doing that one too?
No, this one was in the kiddie section, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it wasn't, it really wasn't anything. Like I
don't get...
A water park I could see maybe being, but it's probably dirty as hell, so I probably wouldn't like it. But like a water park, I think could be more fun with certain crazy.
Water parks are okay, yeah, because like the you're going into some water, so that's
water.
That's a little exciting for a hot day or something.
Even going on a diving board is cool, and maybe that's because I'm from. Oh, when I was younger, I just got reminded of a story now. When I was younger, I went to the pool with my friend Will, and there was this diving board. It was my first time ever on a diving board, but we had always done like trampoline wrestling. We'd like copy the WWF/WWE. It was WWF back then, and wrestle on the trampoline. So I could do all these flips, and I could land on my neck and do all this crazy shit. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be nice at diving. So I said, the first thing I wanted to try to do was like a 450 dive, where I do like a front flip.
Your first shit was you were trying that?
Yeah, because I could easily do a 450 on a trampoline. I could easily do backflips, fucking what we call a misty flip, which is like a twisting backflip. Like I could do all that shit.
But that bounce on a diving board is deceiving. That shit does not give you the same bounce that you think it does.
Okay, so this diving board gave me... First of all, it's already like, I don't even know how many feet, maybe 5 to 8 feet off the water. So it's up there a little bit, and it's got a lot of bounce to it.
Oh, really? Because usually them springs are not fucking springing at all.
This one was like springy as a motherfucker.
Oh,
so
fuck.
The only thing I was a little nervous about was I don't want to, like, when I do my flip, I need to move forward as I do it and not do it in place and fuck myself up. But that's what I was concerned about. So I get up there, go to do the flip. Son, I'd go over once, go over twice, keep going, and straight up land like the world's most painful belly flop. Just like smack right on it. And we had it on tape. But we freaking lost it. We used to have all these
I give you props
tapes.
for even fucking going straight up to that shit and being like, I'm going to flip off of a board and the board is still there. Like, that's mad. Like, anybody who's flipping off boards, I give props to.
No, but that's the thing is, I think the reason why I'm like, I would be interested in diving is because I used to do the trampoline thing, and why I'd be interested in a water park more is probably all tied back to the trampoline thing. But I've never been a fan of getting in rides, and then the rides go fucking nuts. And then while we were there, I looked up on my phone. I was like, let me read about this a little bit. I went to the Playland thing, and on Wikipedia, and there's been mad deaths there, son.
For real?
Mad deaths there. There's been like 5 or 6 of them.
Good for them.
Good for them. One of them was creepy because the one ride I liked when I was a kid was the whip. You know the whip?
I don't know. No.
You just sit in this car thing and you go in a circle and then
Oh yeah, and it's just like
yeah, on the ends it hits you with like the
yeah. I remember that ride. I used to do that shit.
That was the one ride I really liked.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out one person died on the whip when
Wow.
the fucking thing came loose and he got flung out or something.
Well, fucking Playland is old as fuck.
Well, that's the other thing is you look at, and my mom pointed this out.
Coaster. That shit.
Exactly. My mom was like, you could see the fucking old rotting wood, right? Like I'm looking at the old rotting wood right
George
there.
Washington Carver built that shit.
That's
like,
right.
That shit is from like 1901.
Yes, that's what the Revolutionary War was fought over. Is that fucking
roller coaster? No, but I don't understand people that like the thrill is to get off of a ride and be like dizzy and nauseous and shit like that. Like to me, is just like that I don't want that feeling at all, and that's why I hate roller coasters. I hate, and I.
So you hate boats too, right? You gotta hate boats.
I hate boats also. Like I could go on a boat and be okay, but don't have me moving around a lot and shit like that. Like I just want to post up and chill.
Only if I used to be okay with boats. Now only on a lake or a pond can I do it, not in the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, I could fucks with the ocean a little bit, but like, if you're like, hey, stand up, come over here, we're playing like beer pong in the front of the boat, or we're standing on the front of, nah. Like I'm just in the back chilling.
Yeah.
But the thing that's creepiest that I remembered when you said ride Playland, and I just remember this because at my train station they're putting like a carnival, a local carnival. These people need to have their own fucking reality show. The people who travel around and like set up the rides and like they are in charge of like the basketball hoop games are some creepy motherfuckers. Like they just
like what, like pedophile around. Creepy? Like what kind of creepy?
Pedophile creepy, like like just dirty wife beater, like mullets, like cigarette smoking, and it's crazy because these are the people that are interacting with kids, and like you know, all the kids are coming to the local carnivals, but all these local carnivals do is travel from town to town. Like there used to be a carnival where I grew up in Hartsdale. It was Webb Field, and it would be like every summer. But those people would travel to like Connecticut or Jersey, and they all bring their rides, and they're some creepy fucking people. But you don't realize that when you're 8 years old, you're just running up to a game and like, hey, mister, can I play your water shoot game? It's like, hey, kid, here you go.
Yeah, that's
imagine having that profession.
And there's some whack ass rides for carnivals, right? Like they're not as good as actual amusement parks.
Yeah, I mean, because they have to get hooked up to like a truck or some shit like that, so they're not bringing like the fucking like huge roller coaster like around. You know, it's some dinky roller coaster or like that shit that just goes like.
Yeah, that thing. The one thing I like is the basketball games. Or the one where you shoot the water gun at the thing.
Yeah, I like doing the games. That's the only reason.
That's fun. That's fun to me because that's simple and I don't have to fucking worry about getting dizzy and maybe throwing up or some shit.
There's a Six Flags like 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, really?
And the only reason I would go is because I like those, like the basketball shoot games and like the fucking water shoot games.
I'd imagine
that
Six
not
Flags.
Expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and that's a lot bigger than Playland, I think, right?
Six Flags is the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah,
but they went bankrupt.
Park, right? Oh, they did?
Six Flags went bankrupt. I think somebody bought them and like revived it or some shit.
And Hershey Park, is that another one too? I feel like I've heard that
Park,
before.
I've been there. That's a good one.
Okay.
I did a game there. I think it was the one where you have the coins and you got to throw them on the bottle.
Oh, see, that sounds like fun.
That one's good. And the guy was like pretty cool behind the counter. He was like telling us like the techniques of how to get it to land on the certain one. And like he kept giving us mad coins, like extra coins, and we couldn't do it. He ended up just giving us like the big chocolate Hershey's bar and Reese's like bar anyway. Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
But the ones at the carnival are fucking whack. They buy like these like little dolls from like the dollar store and then just pack their walls with it, you know? And it's like you see it at the carnival and you want to win it.
Yeah.
But them shits go to like the fucking store
cheap.
and buy
that
exactly.
Shit. What they had at Playland, apparently they shot Tom
Hanks' movie?
I think maybe I saw that, but I know for sure I saw Mariah Carey's music video for Fantasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I know they shot big on the boardwalk.
They shot big. See, there was a bunch of stuff there. I'm going to go to it right now.
I think the Rangers used to practice there.
Yup. And then they also shot an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, I think, there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That show used to scare the shit out of me, man.
Oh,
you remember
me
that
too.
show?
Dude, it used to scare the shit out of me so bad that just when I saw the beginning, like, theme thing, I had to change the channel. Because I was just shook. Because I feel like that happened when I would see the theme for it when I was, like, a young kid.
I think it was like a canoe on the water and like an open creaking door or something like that. How it opened? And
yeah,
it was like,
something like that. Some creepy ass noise. And I was like, I gotta change it.
Yep. There was one episode, I think he went into like an arcade game in the mall or something like that. And got murdered by a axe.
Why were they trying to show us like scary?
No, there was no murder. Nobody like died in that show. I would like to go back and watch that show and see really what like the scary shit was. Because what were they doing? They weren't killing people. They couldn't have been killing people on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe they could have done it as long as it's not like a gruesome scene. You know?
No, I don't think anybody's getting killed on Are You Afraid of the Dark. Like the scariest shit would be like a boogie monster under the bed or something like that.
Okay, let me read you the deaths from Playland.
Oh yeah, let me hear.
So the first one is kind of. I mean, it's really sad, but I don't know if I'd actually blame the park. In 1988, an 8-year-old girl choked to death while chewing on gum on the Dragon Coaster.
Oh, that's her fault. That's her fault. Like,
you can't say that it's
like,
a dead 8-year-old girl.
No, that shouldn't be on that shouldn't be on the death list.
Yeah, I'm
that's
saying
like,
they're not liable for it.
Yeah, and that one doesn't
it's a
count
tragedy.
as like Playland fucking up because
okay.
like
Mine Scrambler. I don't. Oh, that's the ride you were just talking about, and that's the one I was describing. They changed it to something else.
Oh, really?
This I'm not surprised people died on this one. They got 2 deaths on this one. So on May 22nd, 2004, oh no, a 7-year-old girl from New Rochelle was killed when she fell out of the ride after she opened her restraining bar. Oh.
Okay, why'd she open her restraining bar?
No idea. On June 29th, 2007, a 21-year-old female park employee from White Plains was killed when the ride started by a second employee while the victim was still assisting guests with their safety restraints. Park officials stated that the safety precaution put in place after the 2004 Mine Scrambler incident was not followed. A report issued by the state's Labor Department on August 24th stated that the ride operators were running the ride improperly. Dude, they have like... I guarantee you they only pay them like minimum wage.
Oh yeah, and it's like high school people working.
And they just press the button. That's it.
Definitely don't get trained properly. They don't know what they're doing.
The ride owner was cited for providing inadequate training.
Yeah.
The Whip, this is the guy, 19-year-old, in the 1920s. This place has been around
Playland?
1920s. A 19-year-old man was killed after being flung out of the Whip. Ye Old Mill. That's like the scary one. Where you walk in, it's almost like a horror thing, I think.
The fact that fucking ride is still there from 1920 just goes to show you how old Playland is and needs to be updated.
Okay, listen to this. A 7-year-old boy in 2005 died of blunt force trauma to the head after he climbed out of a boat.
Oh my God. I think I remember that story.
Where he became trapped underwater by a conveyor belt. Oh. The victim's family sued the county that owned Playland. And on March 24, 2009, the defendants were ordered to pay $1.25 million, as well as create a scholarship in the victim's name.
Wow.
And then there was an accidental drowning in 2006. A 43-year-old woman from Queens drowned after walking into a man-made lake that is off limits to swimmers.
Oh, okay. That's a weird one.
Oh, that autopsy showed the woman had blood alcohol level that was 7 times the legal limit.
Whoa.
And here we go. So the film you were talking about, Tom Hanks. Let's see. Oh, The Muppets Take Manhattan. They filmed.
Oh, that's with Jason Segel, I think.
Filmed a scene at Playland. Playland was the amusement park featured at the end of Tom Hanks' 1988 movie Big.
That's when he goes to the arcade, like the genie guy.
Playland appears in a scene from the film Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close. It was in a Woody Allen film, Sweet and Lowdown, starring Sean Penn.
He's a creep.
Yeah, he is. In 2004, the Playland Beach was used for the film Tenderness with Russell Crowe. Every fucking thing ever was shot here.
Yeah, they did a lot at Playland. Playland used to be the shit. Everybody's car used to have a Playland bumper sticker on it. You remember that?
I do, yeah. BET Now was taped there. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Naked Brothers Band? What the fuck?
Hopefully that's not a band of naked brothers.
And this goes on. How I Met Your Mother.
That's what Jason Segel, again, he's probably used to going there.
Mad Men. Billions. Holy shit, this thing was... Oh, The Nanny. What the fuck? And then, of course, like I said, Mariah Carey. Anyway, that's everybody's history of Playland.
Yeah, every car, they used to have the best marketing because every single car used to have the Playland bumper sticker on it.
How many times did you go as a kid? I think I only went like 2 or 3 times.
Not that many times, but every car had that. They had the Z100 bumper sticker on their shit because Z100 used to say, if we see that bumper sticker, we'll give you $100.
Oh, shit.
So if you had that much, like... To win $100, you're gonna put a fucking Z100 bumper sticker on your car that you're not gonna win. Like, I'll give you $100. Don't put that bumper sticker on your car.
Did you used to listen to the Z Morning Zoo?
Oh, fuck them. And then there's one more bumper sticker: the iClown Mount Washington, wherever the fuck Mount Washington. Those are the. If there was a fucking survey of what bumper sticker is most common on a car,
Baby on Board would win that shit.
It would be I Climb Mount. No, it would be Ride Playland would be one.
In this area, yeah.
Everywhere. It would be
in LA. You see Ride Playland things.
For real. There would be Z100 bumper sticker. The blue shit. It was blue and it had a black border outline and it had the yellow Z100. And then there would be. What was the last one I just said?
The
iClown Mount Washington.
Oh, Mount Washington. Sure, yeah.
Have you ever seen that one?
I haven't, no. I've never seen that one.
Damn, son.
But then again, I'm not very observant. Like, I am. I don't see shit.
But I feel like everybody notices now if they see, like, a Trump bumper sticker on a car or some shit like that.
Oh,
like,
if I see a Trump bumper sticker, I'll see. But that's just because I'm into politics, not because I look at bumper stickers.
True. I feel like that gets noticed, and then also when you see on the trucks the people that have like the balls that hang from their toe.
I've seen that. That's pretty funny.
Funny,
I saw,
but like, why
I
are you
saw
doing
an
that?
Obamacare bumper sticker the other day.
Really?
I was like, wow, that's like I've never seen that before.
You got to really be into some shit to put a bumper sticker on your car.
Yeah, I would have put a Bernie one on my car.
For real?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Because it's just like, that's a big commitment. It's like getting a tattoo. Like,
no, you could take off a bumper sticker.
No, but that shit's going to leave like a paint, like, because the sun's beaming on that shit, so you're going to have a fucking, like, paint stamp of your bumper sticker.
Bernie, I would give you a bumper sticker, my man.
I mean, I got when Bernie was, remember when that bird flew on Bernie or some shit like that at his press conference or something like that?
That was so
stayed
cool.
on his podium.
Yeah, it was so funny.
His team did like a marketing campaign off of that and did like Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
And it was like if you donate, you get like a bird. It was like a bird that I think it was just a picture of the bird or some shit.
Nah, it wasn't just a bird.
It might have been.
It was a picture like him and the bird or something.
No, it might have just been like a fucking bird.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, look up like donate to Bernie and get like the birdie sticker or something. Because I did that and they sent me in the mail a sticker. I don't know where it went.
Bernie Sanders sticker. Here we go.
It's fucked up because the only reason I donated it because I wanted that sticker.
It's a bird with his hair and his glasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they sent that shit, man. They ran an awesome fucking campaign, man. I'm tight that like we have such a corrupt system that like someone who played by the rules, did everything right, like worked his ass off, was educated on everything,
and they rigged the shit against him. DNC.
They just rigged it against him, you know?
Yeah, but don't worry, man. I think he'll run again. So that's the good news.
Yeah, but I was talking about that too. Like he's old.
He is old. I think as long as people see that he's still in the same shape he was the last time around, I don't think because you got to think about it, man. Trump is actually not that much younger than him. He just looks younger than him because he's got an orange face and blonde hair.
I think he was like 4 years younger or something like that. Like Bernie might have been 76 or some shit.
You know what the funny thing is though, with Joe Biden, I've seen so many things talking about Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's like 1 year younger than Bernie. So it's like, these things is. I mean, I would still vote for him, but I fear that there would be some people who are too married to that idea that he's too old that he wouldn't even give him a fair hearing. You know what I mean?
But there's no vibrant young motherfucker like besides the Alexandria Cortese. Like why can't
Cortese? She's in a crime family, the Cortese crime family. We solve
like
problems
Italian
and we
Puerto
give
Rican or
people health care over here.
She can't run for president?
She's going to be a first-term congresswoman.
Yeah.
So she's not running for president. I mean, him and Elizabeth Warren are the two best bets against Trump.
Yeah. I was always wondering why Hillary just didn't choose him as her vice president.
Hillary
Maybe he didn't want to do it. Like
hates Bernie. Despises him.
Like this is a clear path, like a clear home run.
Yeah, guaranteed you win if you do. 100% she won if she did that. 100% she won if she did that. Not even close. Oh my God, it's not even close, dude.
And she picked that fucker.
Yeah, Tim fucking
Kaine.
Watching paint dry Kane. Tim Oatmeal Kane.
Like she chose him to get the Spanish vote and shit, right?
No, she chose him to try to get moderate Republicans because he is a pretty conservative Democrat and he's a white man. So she didn't want to scare her away. She thought, like if I put another woman, if it's me and Elizabeth Warren, that's too many women. We're not gonna win over moderate Republican voters. Ooh, if I go Bernie Sanders, they'll say he's too far left. I can't go in that direction. So she went like super duper safe. Like,
and she wanted the power. She wanted to be the one on the card.
She wanted to be the one on the card, but Tim Kaine was it was a political calculation of a pick. It's like, let me go with a white man because I'm a woman, so I don't want to be too out there here, and let me go with a conservative leaning one to try to get moderate Republicans. So another way, she kept shitting on her base, and then that pick was just a clear example that she was never going to fix it, and she had a good chance of losing because it shows a mindset, and the mindset is, fuck my base, I'm going to try to get the crossover vote from Republicans, and they're never going to vote for you. You're Hillary fucking Clinton. Like, you're Hillary Clinton. You're a punchline on the right. So why the fuck would you try to get crossover votes from them? It makes no goddamn sense.
They had on 60 Minutes, they were doing like a flashback, and they had this a while ago. This was a repeat, but this maybe 2 weeks ago, they were doing like the specials on 60 Minutes, and Joey Diaz talked about it on Rogan's podcast. But they had a clip of when Bill was like this. He was caught in some allegations with this other lady. It wasn't even like Monica Lewinsky or some shit. And a young Hillary was like sitting by his side, and she was like trying to be all stern and like, I wouldn't be sitting next to him if I was. And like,
oh, I remember this. Mm-hmm.
And then there was a light post that fell on her head.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. I did see that.
She like says this sound. She's like, oh gee golly, or something like that. She was just so like out of it.
Oh, I was just talking about this the other day on my show. That remember when the tape hit, the grab him by the pussy tape, like right before the last debate or something.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, that's it. Trump's done." There were literally people were talking. There was mainstream media conversation about like, "Oh, so is he going to step down now?" Mm-hmm. Like they were talking about, is there any way we could replace him with like Mitt Romney? This was like all the mainstream media calculation. But what did Trump do? It was political genius. What he did is at the next debate, first of all, he released a video on Facebook that was like a semi-apology, like non-apology apology kind of thing, where he was like, those are words. I'm not proud of what I said. I shouldn't have said it, but that was locker room talk. And then in the debate, he brought all of Bill Clinton's accusers to the debate and did a press conference with them. And so he didn't even need to say it. It was those women who were like, yes, Donald Trump said some things that he's not proud of. Bill Clinton raped me. And Hillary defended him. And so he changed the conversation from like, you just got caught and you're done with your campaign to, no, they're actually guilty of worse, so it's a wash. So put that aside. And it worked. It fucking worked. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was political genius, even though he's a scumbag. And but it's just he shows how if you can counterattack, if you can go on the offense, you can fucking weather any goddamn scandal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you could just override it through force of will. That's what he did. Apparently, it was Steve Bannon, his campaign manager, and one other. Roger Stone, who were telling him, like, no, this is what you're going to do. And he's like, I love it. Let's do that. Some people were like, no, you just got to apologize. Imagine if he just apologized and didn't counterattack like that. He probably would have lost the election.
Yeah, definitely. He hasn't apologized for anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the closest he came with that, like, semi-apology. Apparently he refused to apologize. Remember when he said about John McCain? Because John McCain got captured in Vienna?
Shit, yeah.
He's like, oh, he's a hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured, okay? Everybody was shitting on him, and his campaign was like, yo, you have to apologize. And he was like, no, I'm not going to apologize.
No. It's fascinating now to watch with the Supreme Court nomination.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just how the agenda starts lining up, and it's like people are starting to build their like narratives on the right, like, oh, well, let's not attack the guy that he chose, because he's a good person, and so they're going to let the pick sort of happen that way by just saying that, let's not come down on the guy that he picked. Trump picked him, but let's not attack the guy that he picked and let him, he seems like a fair guy.
Well, the thing that's so annoying to me is that, like, Mitch McConnell and all the Republicans will now act like, I cannot believe the Democrats are being so obstructionist.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, you literally broke the record on obstruction. You guys broke the filibuster record, and you stonewalled Merrick Garland, Obama's pick, for like a year and a half. You blew the record out of the water. So for them to say anything about procedure or process or obstruction is like, listen, dude, you have to... I understand you're a Republican and you're going to argue for this guy, but, like, at least be honest and consistent and don't bring up the process stuff. Like, just talk about why you like him in terms of policy.
They spoke about that on... I watch The View sometimes, and McCain's daughter is on there.
Yeah.
And she's obnoxious as fuck. She's like, whoever he picked, the people on the left were going to say, it's a bad pick. It's a bad pick.
Well, yeah, because his picks actually are shitty.
Yeah, but then
it's not my fault they're shitty.
But then Joy Behar or whatever, who I love, was like, yeah, but that's exactly what Mitch McConnell does. Like, you guys started that technique with us.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
Don't try and reverse that shit on us now by saying we're just saying no to whoever you pick.
But you know what?
Yes, we're saying no to whoever you pick, and they fucking suck. We pick good people, and you just shoot down anything we say.
But not only that, there's also a big difference between the picks. Like, Merrick Garland is somebody who should have been a Republican pick because he's like a somewhat moderate pick. Everybody that was on Trump's list was insane. I mean, so this guy, Brett Kavanaugh, he praised the dissent in Roe versus Wade. So he didn't agree with the fact that, you should be able to get an abortion and it should be a right up to a certain point. He wants states to be able to ban it. So, extremist on the issue of abortion. He criticized the Supreme Court ruling that Obamacare is constitutional. So he thinks Obamacare is unconstitutional. He says that a sitting president can't be indicted, and he can, if Trump wanted to, he could fire the special counsel that's investigating him whenever he wants, which is crazy. That's like saying, oh, the president, he's like kind of like an emperor. He gets to do whatever he wants.
But then meanwhile, he impeached Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a hypocrite too, to boot.
Yeah.
And then he opposes net neutrality. The one that really got under my skin is that he said the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is unconstitutional. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, has defrauded Americans billions of dollars because they regulate, like, Wall Street and the banks to make sure that you're not getting fucked over by them and they're not trying to pull some tricky bullshit on you and charge you nonsense fees. So he's an extremist. So am I in favor of fucking stonewalling him? Fuck yeah. Do everything you can to not let this motherfucker get approved.
Here's the thing, though. Why don't we just look at a litmus test of all the people that fucking Trump has chosen for any other position? They're all fucking either getting indicted or they're all stepping down or they're all resigning because, like, allegations against them for some shady shit. So it's just like, how about we look at everybody he's chosen so far and they're all fucking terrible. Now we're going to let him choose somebody for a position that they can't fucking lose unless they die or step down?
But that's the other thing. And they're picking them young, too. They get these young guys like
I'm
relatively
saying, like,
young.
everybody he's chosen to be in his cabinet is getting like is stepping down, not qualified, or
Yeah, some of
has
that's because
allegations
they,
of-
some of that's because they don't want his stain on them, and then other ones are he's firing them. You know, like Pruitt, the EPA guy, I think was just fired, and then some of
Was
it's
he
for
fired,
corruption.
or did he step down because he was doing like?
No, I think he was fired by Trump, and Trump allowed him to say, "I'm resigning." See,
I
the
don't
thing,
even think Trump knows what these guys do or what. Like, I don't think he communicates with them.
yeah, I honestly don't think he knows.
Like, do you think he's done research on this Supreme Court pick? You think he actually sat down?
No. Actually, I know how they happened to settle on him. It had a lot to do with the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers and Kennedy, the justice who's stepping down, they like made a deal. Like, oh, okay.
Well, doesn't his son, the judge's, our Supreme Court son, didn't he give money to Trump or something like that? He donated to his campaign or something. He's tied up with Trump.
Who, Kavanaugh or Kennedy?
Who's the guy stepping down?
Kennedy.
His son is like a big donor to Trump or some shit like that.
I'm unaware. I'm sure that's probably true, but I just didn't know that. But apparently the Koch brothers were involved in this, and they're like getting all of their justices and judges for lower courts picked, which is like really scary because they're billionaires who just control our entire fucking political system. So yeah,
is there any like requirements? Could he pick like a fucking 8-year-old kid if he wanted?
No,
Like,
you don't have to. He could pick, I think, whoever he wants. I don't know about an 8-year-old kid, but he could
imagine
pick.
he picked Barron.
Oh my god.
He just gave Barron a job for the rest of his life, and it's like all these old fuckers, and Barron, or like an infant, like Ivanka gives birth or some shit, and he's just like, "You're my Supreme Court nominee." You gotta get like voted in, but they have the majority.
I mean, we're
so all the
joking,
Republicans
but
do it.
dude, they're like Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump work in the White House. Like,
I know.
He picked like his fucking son-in-law and his daughter to like work in the White House.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Well, that's what happens in like England. Like if all of the royal family dies, and like then one of those little young motherfuckers would be like the queen and king.
Yeah, but that's all.
No, it's all bullshitty.
Yeah, they don't
stuff.
have actual control. Here they do have control. You know, I saw a tweet the other day about like the prime minister of Turkey or president, I forget which, because he switches back and forth.
He's corrupt. Right?
Erdogan in Turkey. He picked like his son-in-law to have a top government position, and then somebody was tweeting like, you know, it's getting bad when they pick their son-in-law to be in a top position, and then it's like, that's exactly what Trump did.
Yeah, that happens everywhere. I mean, look at North Korea with Kim Jong fuckface.
Yeah,
They say he's grooming Donald Trump or Don Jr. or whatever. So like he wants to keep the shit in his family, so he's grooming his son to run for the next presidency. I'm sure.
Oh,
you know?
No. They will get so thoroughly obliterated. There's no way Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr. could win.
I don't know, man. They want it to be like on some
son,
Bush family shit, like some legacy shit.
Listen, dude.
Watch Ivanka run or some shit like that.
She would have a better chance than they would, for sure. But
dude, he doesn't. You think he wants his name to fucking die just with him?
It's not about what he wants. It's they would have to win elections. If they want to be president, they have to win elections. And they can't do that. They're deeply unlikable. Listen, the thing about Trump is,
you think? I don't know if they're unlikable, dude. You
they're
think so?
deeply 100%. They're unlikable. Look at their fucking faces. I just want to punch them in the face and shit down their mouth. Are you kidding me? Look at them. I mean, there's the old joke that everybody goes to, and it's funny because people come up with this joke on their own. It's not like, oh, I heard that joke and I'm going to repeat it. It's such a common repeated thing without people even realizing other people said it before them. I know because I was one of them. Uday and Qusay. That was Saddam Hussein's kids. Like his fuck-up kids who were nuts. That's Eric Trump and that's Don Jr. or whatever their fucking names are. I mean, they look like they're... And one of them is such a fucking sycophant. I think it's Don Jr. Don Jr. is like...
Who's cheating on his wife, his pregnant wife.
Yeah, like he's a loathsome person in that respect, but he was like... every day or every other day he tweets some shit about like just spend some time with my daddy. Like he's such a like, oh my god, my dad is the best person ever. It's so amazing. He made it to the White House.
I was talking to my dad about this shit. Do you think Trump is even like do you think he's any type of father figure to the kid Barron? He can't be like
I don't think he was a father figure to fucking any of his kids, dude. He's Donald fucking Trump. He's a malignant narcissist.
Yeah.
He's a narcissist.
That's why I said if a
you think he's a present father? That motherfucker's not present. He was busy chasing down cameras from Entertainment Tonight while his kids were, whoever else was raising the kids, whether it was Ivana or Melania or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking narcissist and a half. But the thing is about Trump is I went back and I watched some of the old debate stuff from the Republican primary the other day. And he definitely has a quality that's appealing, even though he's overall unlikable. And I try to put my hatred of his policies aside and view it through the eyes of like somebody who doesn't know anything. And there's definitely a quality about him that's like interesting. And so I could see how he can win an election. But with Don Jr. and Eric, it's like, ugh, you just want to punch him in the... You know how some people just have a punchable face?
Yes.
Like, that's them. They're so fucking punchable.
SNL does the funny skit when they have the both brothers go on to like Weekend Update or whatever, or they make fun of the brothers, and they'll have like Don Jr. like trying to be the one communicating, and then Eric will pop up with just like a coloring book or something like that, and he'd be like, Don, look at this page. There's an elephant, and they want me to color him in red. And he's like, keep reading, and like he just says the stupidest shit.
They do strike me like man babies, like both of them. Probably Eric less so, but definitely Don Jr.
Well, like I sometimes come across his tweets that like it'll be on the news or something and just be like the last one he had when he was like, warning, there's going to be a flash flood of tears or something when the liberals pick their...
Like that's some shit I would think of at like age 13.
Yeah.
To say.
And he'll put like the words like lit in his tweet or something like that. Like this 4th of July weekend's going to be lit. And it's just like, stop.
I heard he's dating that Fox News host now, which is like just perfect. Like makes perfect sense. Yeah, Kim Guilfoyle.
Nothing surprised me with those motherfuckers. But do you think that guy will go through? He's
getting approved for sure. For sure.
Someone tweeted also like all these liberals are like complaining and mad about this stuff. But when it comes time to vote, you'll still have Democrats that vote, like still vote yes or something like that for him to get in.
They are going to vote yes,
which is wild.
There's
like
going to be at least. Well, actually, here's the issue. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. I think they're the most moderate Republicans in the Senate, and they might not. I think they'll vote for him. But there's a chance that they actually won't because he is hostile to.
Are they Republicans?
They're Republicans, but they're the most moderate Republicans, and they pump the brakes when it comes to reproductive rights. So they don't want Roe versus Wade, and they don't want abortion to be totally overturned.
So why are people so scared about that? He can get nominated and then just fucking run into the shit like he's LeBron James and be like, yeah, we're overturning Roe versus Wade.
No, I think there's a case that they're supposed to hear about abortion.
Oh, okay. So that's why. I'm like, why is this a topic right now? Like,
yeah, there's a specific case, and they could take up, or maybe even, I don't even know if they have a specific case that's coming up, or they can pick a case coming up, because there are abortion cases that are always...
Got it.
And so they could just hear the case, and if they hear it, now...
Then they have to vote, yeah.
Now it's already a court that overwhelmingly leans conservative, but if you get Kavanaugh or any really Republican right-leaning justice now, then it's a wrap. Like, it is like, that court is going to do damage for fucking 5 decades, which is crazy. There was an era of the court called, I think, the Lochner era.
The Loch Ness Monster?
Well, their effects were just as bad as the Loch Ness Monster. It was in, like, I think it was the 1920s, I want to say, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But what happened in this era is the Supreme Court basically, like, was a bulwark for all progress in the country. They had these preposterous rulings where they said, like, one of them was, I think it was like a baker or something. I'm botching these facts, but it's like a dude worked for a guy. I think it was a baker, maybe a butcher or something like that. And the dude, like, made him work overtime hours. And the guy was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then they took him to court or something. And the results were that they have the employee and the employer have what's called a right to contract. So the government is not allowed to step in since there was a right to contract to prevent wrongdoing and harm. So, in other words, that dude was asked out and he had to work all these crazy overtime hours because you can't regulate labor violations. So, in other words,
I wonder if that's going to come up because now Trump's driver is suing Trump because he said he hasn't paid him for his overtime hours.
I don't think that would get all the way to the Supreme Court, but here, let me look up the case I'm talking about because I butchered those facts.
It sounds identical to what I heard the driver was suing him for. Is like he worked like 50, or a lot of overtime hours, and Trump just deaded him on all this shit.
Okay, here we go. The Lochner era is a period in American legal history from 1897 to 1937 in which the Supreme Court of the United States is said to have made it a common practice, quote, to strike down economic regulations adopted by a state based on the court's own notions of the most appropriate means for the state to implement its considered policies. So, let me see here. By using its interpretation of substantive due process to strike down laws held to be infringing on economic liberty or private contract rights. Okay, so that's exactly what I was saying. The era takes its name from, here we go. The 1905 case, Lochner versus New York. The beginning of the era, this is the case I was just talking about. The beginning of the era is usually marked earlier. Okay, let me go to the Lochner case specifically so people know, and I get
Who
my
the
facts
fuck
right.
is Lochner?
Lochner is the guy who... Here, I'll read it. Lochner versus New York was a landmark U.S. labor law case in the U.S. Supreme Court holding that limits to working time violated the 14th Amendment. So in other words, like, they have rules on the books. Like, okay, a truck driver, for example, they're not allowed to drive, like, for fucking 25 hours straight or whatever. Because that puts everybody at risk. Well, the Supreme Court said, no, the government can't make laws that restrict the amount of time that a truck driver drives. Because that's the government being too intrusive.
Okay.
They say a majority of 5 judges held that a New York law requiring that bakery employee hours, so I was right, had to be under 10 hours a day and 60 hours a week, violated the Due Process Clause, which in their view contained a right of freedom of contract. Yeah, so I was right. So basically what that means, guys, is there was a baker that was making his workers work 10 hours a day, 60 hours a week. And the New York State was like, no, we're going to regulate that because that's fucking crazy. These people are overworked and they don't even want to work this much. And basically the guy was like, no, if you work here, you have to work these hours. And it's fucking 10 hours a day, 60 hours a week. And so New York State tried to step in to be more reasonable and say, no, you got to work maximum this amount of hours. You can't work more than this amount. And if you do work more than this amount, they got to pay you overtime. And the Supreme Court was like, no, you're not allowed to make laws and interfere with this guy's business. He gets to run it however he wants, and you can't have... So, like, by this logic, like, minimum wage laws, no good. Child labor protections, no good. Like, all those kinds of laws can be viewed as intrusive on the right to contract for an owner, a business owner, to tell his employee to do what he wants him to do. So that's the fear, I think, is that now this court is going to be so conservative that they start rolling back basic fucking protections that are out there, where they just fucking take a hatchet to everything about this country.
I doubt they would do all that shit. Like,
Dude,
that would be going above and beyond.
No.
Just started hacking away at, like,
here's how I
overtime hours and shit.
Here's how I know that it's possible. There was a period in U.S. history where they said the death penalty is unconstitutional. And then a new court came in and threw that out and then allowed the death penalty again. So
I feel like those motherfuckers in the Supreme Court don't do shit right now, and it's just like, it's not like this one dude's going to come in and all of a sudden they're going to...
They do a lot. Like, there was the voting rights case and the civil rights case I think it was voting rights from a few years back. I mean, they just recently fucking gave us gay marriage, dude. Of course they do a lot. It's because of the Supreme Court that gay marriage is legal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that just happened not that long ago. And the voting rights case, they ruled that, no, you can't, like, the federal government is not allowed to use more scrutiny in Mississippi and Alabama to make sure that they're not restricting black people's right to vote. Because the Supreme Court argued, oh, we're not, like, those states aren't more racist than the northern states.
Yeah, they definitely are, though.
But that's exactly. So, the Supreme Court said, oh, you got to scrap the extra scrutiny for those states because we're not allowing that anymore. That's unconstitutional. So they took a hatchet to the fucking Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, and they legalized gay marriage, at least. That was a good thing. But, this is the shit that really should scare people. Roe versus Wade is one, obviously.
Yeah.
But this shit here, a new Lochner era, would be fucking devastating. I mean, think about how crazy that is. Basically, a state tried to come up with laws so that people get paid decently and don't have to work like fucking crazy. And they were like, no, we're not going to allow you to make laws to improve people's lives. That's crazy shit, man.
That is. I still think it would be far-fetched if, like, that mother came in and was just like, we're doing shit my way now. They'd be like, motherfucker, we've been here for 40 years. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but it would be a 5-4 conservative court. So basically whatever the fuck is the conservative side of each case, that's what's gonna that's how they're gonna rule.
Do you think those old fucks go into like an office every day, or is it like when they have to rule on some shit, it's like some superpower shit and their forces combine and they meet in an office? They don't go into some office every day.
They work at the Supreme Court. Like, there's an actual building, the Supreme Court. And they hear the cases, and then they go and deliberate, and then they'll come up with their conclusions. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you? I just saw Joe Rogan had on Tony Rock earlier today. Tony Rock.
That was the dude who closed our comedy show, right?
That's the dude who closed our comedy show. Son, he's Chris Rock's little brother.
Oh, for real?
Yes, he is. I didn't know that either. I didn't know that either until today. And then I was like, you know what? Mad respect to that dude. Because
he was funny.
He was really fucking funny, number one. Number two, I didn't know he was Chris Rock's little brother. You didn't know he was Chris Rock's brother. Nope. So there's, by no stretch of the imagination is he like coasting on that. Because we literally didn't know he was that. And he was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't put that together. Like, they didn't say, or maybe just we didn't hear his name or some shit?
It came out in the podcast. In the podcast, he mentioned that. And I was
Rogan's cranking out so many fucking podcasts, I can't even keep up. It's like he's doing 2 a days for like fucking 2.5, 3 hours.
He does a lot of MMA ones, though. You don't watch.
He's doing a lot of just regular shit. So I'm trying to like get through the Joey Diaz one, and then he's already fired out 6 more. I'm like, yo, my man, who's listening to all of these shits?
I don't listen to any of the MMA ones because I'm not an MMA guy.
But can you even listen to the regular shits?
Yeah, but I listen to them at like double speed.
Oh, do you?
Dude, that's an amazing tool. Like, here's what's going to happen. At first, you got to baby your way into it. Like, you got to go from 1 speed to 1.25.
Okay.
And then you'll get used to that, and that'll be good. And then after a while, you're like, let me kick it up to 1.5.
Okay.
And then you kick it up to 1.5, and that'll be fat. You'll be like, whoa, this is fast. But then after, like, 2 days, you're like, this is not that fast. I could hear it perfectly. And then finally, when you're ready to be with the big boys, you got to kick it up to 2. But sometimes 2, the thing about double speed is you can't, like, even if you get used to it, the next time you watch YouTube, you might have to go put on the training wheels again and go down to 1.5 again for a little bit before you can kick it up to 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm always going back and forth between 1.5 and 2. But
Does YouTube let you speed shit up?
Yeah, they have an option where... So, you know, if he has a 3-hour podcast, boom, already it's an hour and 30 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. Plus, like, the first 10 minutes is, like, advertising and shit, so it's not too bad. I just can't listen to this shit anymore.
You don't listen to it on YouTube. That's the problem. You listen to it on...
Yeah, no, you could speed it up on iTunes or whatever.
You can. You could speed it up there, too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a great feature. I used to hate it. Now I love it.
I know. I'm going to try it out. But my brain doesn't move fast enough to, like, think about something they said. And then if that shit is already moving at 2 times speed and they're talking about something else, I'm going to be lost.
See, I like to just absorb whatever people are saying and not think about it when I'm watching a podcast. It's like a zone out thing for me. It's not like be an active, engaging participant. Yeah, I'm
going to try and give that a go.
You know what I saw earlier? I couldn't believe it, but there's a conspiracy that Michael Jackson is still alive.
Yeah, I heard that because he's on Drake's album. Yeah, he did on Drake's album, one of the songs as featuring Michael Jackson.
When was this? His new album?
His new album, yeah. and there's the whole like meme going around or whatever.
Oh, they didn't
of,
even
like,
add
this-
that in the video I was watching.
Yeah, there's a picture of Michael Jackson like leaving a studio, and he's like got his head, like his hand covering his head or something, and everybody put like on the meme like Michael Jackson leaving the studio with Drake or something like that.
So the video I watched, their first piece of evidence was a video where when he's taken to the morgue, he actually gets out of the back of the ambulance or something.
Ugh.
But then they even say in the video like, oh no, people admitted that this was a hoax, that they made this video to show how easy it is to spread misinformation online or something like that. And
Yeah,
then,
they have fucking holograms and shit.
and then there was another piece of the conspiracy was that there was a guy who Michael Jackson befriended when he was a kid. By the way, that's questionable already. Because this kid, like his dad, like lit him on fire or something crazy.
What?
And his name was Dave. Dave. Like
What?
Yeah, it's already crazy. But you see, he's like super burnt. Like his face is like it's all scar tissue. But the conspiracy was in the interview that guy was given, like on TV with Larry King. People were saying, no, that's actually Michael Jackson dressed up as this guy.
I'm what?
That's why I wanted to bring this up. I love watching your reaction.
Oh my god, I'm lost. Like,
And what else did they say? Oh,
was this some shady conspiracy video?
yeah, it's just
like
dead wrong, crazy shit. But it's just funny that people come up with this stuff. Another part of the conspiracy was Janet Jackson, that he made a song with Janet Jackson after he died. And then I watched the Tupac one. There was the same
Tupac. That could be true. He could still be alive.
Nah.
He's on a.
I
People
love
say
how
he's still alive. They say Andy Kaufman's still alive
every
somehow.
really famous person, when they die, there's a conspiracy that they're still alive if they die somewhat young.
Yeah, I guess because people still want them to be alive.
Yeah, but the Tupac one was much better in that, like, I know it's still bullshit, but watching it, like, they managed to present stuff that if you believe them, it sounds convincing, but I just don't believe them.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no closure on the Tupac one. That's why that one could be a little bit like
crazy about that is he was murdered in the middle of Las Vegas on the Vegas Strip after a Tyson fight. Dude, do you have any idea how many witnesses there would be in that situation?
Yeah.
After a Tyson fight on the Vegas Strip. Yeah.
Like, this shit happened outside of a casino. You don't think there's security cameras or there's no...
It's fucking Vegas. It's the Vegas Strip. There's got to be cameras everywhere for the casinos for...
That's what I'm saying.
So that one's weird, but...
That one's a little... I know there was a big Biggie funeral, but was there... I don't know if there was like a big Tupac like funeral.
I don't know. I don't remember a Biggie
I don't even care. Like, when people talk about all... Like people always ask me these debate questions and like, oh, Jordan versus LeBron, or like, is Tupac still alive? Is Biggie the best rapper? Like, who gives a fuck about all this shit? That's like, I hate when people ask my opinion on that shit because it's just like, I don't care.
I hate when people ask my opinion.
Like, when people ask me that shit, like I guess I'm just saying I hate when people ask me anything.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from what you were saying. It's like, I hate having to live.
Because it's
I
like,
hate talking.
who gives a fuck? Like, if you like a song, just listen to that shit. Like, there doesn't need to be a top 5 list of best rappers. Like, there doesn't need to be like Biggie or Tupac or LeBron and fucking Kobe.
That's so funny that you're saying this because I feel like I want to make a list of the best of everything.
Really?
Yeah, like I want to make a list of the best. I did it once with movies. I wish I could find that paper.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that because then I could watch that movie. But like, just tell me this movie's good. I don't need to know like who the best rapper, because there's so much music, there's so many movies.
I'm gonna see if I could find for the next Kyle and Corin. I'm gonna see if I could find my list of the best movies. But
you have it?
I should have it somewhere in this office, but I gotta find
that. Like, you've written down that like you've seen.
I did it one day. I took like an hour and a half, and I was like.
You don't remember what, like, you probably don't want to spoil it, but like, you don't even remember what number 1 was?
I don't even remember what number 1 was. I remember some of the ones that made the list. I remember Jaws was on the list.
Oh, for real? I never seen Jaws.
I remember Tombstone was on the list.
I only ate in the pizza.
I put Tombstone Pizza on the list of best movies because it's just that good.
Son, I went to the movies. I don't know. Did I say this last week? It was $9 for a fucking popcorn.
What?
Yeah, like it was on some
How
like
much
I
was
saw
the ticket?
like $9.50 I think or some shit.
So the
I got a
ticket wasn't
medium
terrible.
popcorn.
It was the fucking
The shit was
popcorn.
$9, and I really wanted the popcorn.
Did you had to get like extra butter or some shit, right?
I just got like the regular butter, but I ate the whole fucking popcorn during the half an hour previews.
If you're spending $9 on popcorn, you got to tell them dump butter on it, put salt on it,
dump butter on me, fuck it, not even popcorn. Like, and then I asked for a cup of water. The cup of water they gave me was like a fucking dentist office wash your mouth out shit.
What movie did you see?
The Uncle Drew movie, the basketball movie.
Oh, I don't even know
It's like
if I knew
Kyrie
that
Irving
existed.
dresses up as like an old man.
But he did a whole movie like that?
Yeah.
What
Shaquille
the
O'Neal's
fuck?
in it, Nate Robinson, Reggie Miller, Chris
Is it
Webber.
all a comedy, basically?
Yeah.
Was it
Comedy.
good?
I
That's a
wasn't
no.
mad. I wasn't mad. I spent the $9.50.
Oh, I told you I watched the Evil Genius shit that you told me about on Netflix?
Banger?
Dude, that was good.
Was it just one episode?
No,
Like, is it just
it's like 3 or 4 or something like that, but it was
You said
good.
I could watch it. It wasn't like scary.
No, it wasn't scary. It was just interesting. Like, I won't spoil too much of it for you, but
You can spoil it. I'm not gonna watch that shit.
okay. So this woman,
You didn't even put up a fight, dude.
Well, I don't even know how well I can describe what it was because so much of what's interesting about it is seeing the development of this human being, or actually these human beings, because there's a few of them, just like a bunch of sociopaths who like pulled off this horrifically grotesque crime. Like there was a dude.
Robbery?
No, what they did is they somehow coerced a guy to rob a bank, but they forcibly put on him a fucking bomb.
The delivery man, right?
Yeah.
He's a
And so they put a bomb on him, and then he had to follow instructions and go rob a bank. And then on the way out, he got stopped by cops. And then the bomb started ticking, and the bomb fucking blew up and blew his
What?
yes, and he killed him. And they get into is
Wait, so he left the bank and like they didn't find like he was good, and then the cops came up to him, or they knew he was robbing the bank.
Oh no, they knew, and he was trying to go to the next place he had to go to, which was part of as part of this thing that they're making him do. He had to go somewhere and get the next note that would tell him the next place to go, and then that note there.
Fuck.
It was creepy. So but anyway, it gets into who is it that made this dude do that thing, and how fucked up are these people? And then they get into their history and their lives, and it's really interesting.
So that's why they're sort of geniuses, because it's like,
well, it's called Evil Genius. I mean, but I don't know. They just mean who was the mastermind of that plan.
so that's what it is. It's just figuring out who set up this robbery.
Well, so there's
Like, what makes it interesting? I'm like,
because it's trying to crack the case of how the fuck that can happen and who's responsible. And
is there like footage of like the crimes and like
there is
interviews and
yes.
stuff?
And there's also not just that murder. There's another murder that's tied to these people.
And you're trying to tell me this shit's not scary? I would have fucking nightmares.
No, it's like
years.
the first 48 shit. You know, it's like some forensic file shit. Like that's
That's
what it's like. It's just like a really good version of that because it's
Yeah,
really
okay.
interesting.
I'd be too shook to watch that.
Nah, you wouldn't be too shook to watch that. I mean, come on. Do you ever watch any horror movies?
Not really.
Really?
I fucking got traumatized when like Scream came out, dude, and then I saw like the fucking mask at like Halloween, and I was scared of that shit.
I mean, I'm not like a big horror guy, but
I got scared of the movie Urban Legends. Like I won't
that one
flash
creeped
anybody
me
at
out, too.
night when their lights are off, because then they fucking come around and start flashing you off the road.
yeah, I remember that movie.
I was afraid to put like Pop Rocks in my soda because I think the dude died in the movie with that shit.
He did. I remember that. Damn, I'm surprised. I'm not a big horror movie guy, but I watch like maybe one a year.
I don't really like horror movies at all. I think I think I saw in theaters. What was they made some shit for like dirt cheap. Oh, Blair Witch.
Oh, Blair Witch, yeah. I don't know
think
if
I
I
saw
ever
that
watched
shit.
that in full.
No, there was one movie that was supposed to be super, super scary when it came out. They were like in a bedroom, and the whole movie was like them in a bedroom, and everybody was like,
Paranormal Activity? I
it
think it
might
was
have been
that.
that shit. It might have been
And
that
there's been a
shit.
few of them.
Yeah, I think it was the first one
I
though.
never watched that one, I don't think, because that looked too scary for me.
Yeah, but I think I saw it and it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't
Oh,
that
really?
bad.
Oh, see, that's what happens with most of them, is that
Yeah,
you're like, this is going to be crazy, and then you watch it and you're like, Because they
because I
have
always
to, it's psychological tricks. Like, the director needs to know what they're doing. Like,
exactly.
they need to know how to work it up right.
But
And
then I also think about when I watch it in the theaters. I'm like, these are just actors. Like, he's not really getting his hand chopped off.
yeah,
Like,
that's
that
the
blanket,
go-to
there's no
thought.
ghost in the
Yeah, it's
blanket.
like, this shit is all fake anyway. But then if you realize it's super fake and it's not convincing you, then you shouldn't be watching that movie anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if it's really good, I'm like, I could still think, like, oh, they're going to say cut. And then the dude's going to be like, yeah, I fucked that up. I farted during that scene or some shit. Like, and I'll be like, okay, it's not scary anymore.
Yeah, well, that's like the out button. You have an out button to press, which
Yeah.
is, oh, this is a movie.
Yeah. Like in when James Franco was in 48 Hours and everybody was like, "Oh, you can't watch the one scene where he chops his arm off to get it out of the rock." Cuz supposedly that scene, I saw it. They really show like him
What a
graphically.
stupid fucking... He chopped his arm off?
Yeah. Well, it was stuck in the rock. Did you know that story? The guy
No.
got like trapped in a cave.
Oh,
And then, like,
so
the
this is
rock
based on a
fell in his
real
arm.
life thing?
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
real dude.
shit.
Yeah. So he was losing circulation and like he couldn't get his arm out. He had the rest of his body and shit. But his arm was caught between a fucking diesel ass boulder or some shit.
What's the name of this movie?
48 hours or 36 minutes or 47 days.
It's definitely
or
not
some
48
shit.
hours, because I said the first 48 before, and that number's still in your
No,
head.
it's something. It's or 121 hours or someone's gonna write shit and be
Some
like-
number amount of hours.
It's either hours or minutes or days.
Well,
I think it's
that
hours.
movie actually sounds interesting. But what were you going to say about him breaking his fucking arm off?
So during the scene, they put a saw to his arm and they're really showing it.
Ooh.
And like blood's gushing out. But James Franco accepted his fucking Oscar with two arms. Like he's not really cutting his arm off.
Yeah, but if they do it right, then like that Jaws was good like that. Like they did it just right, where you watch it and you're like, this just feels so real.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Jaws, like, that was creepy. The fucking Alfred Hitchcock Psycho movie was creepy as fuck, even though that's a movie
Yeah.
where he stabs in the shower.
That was a
Still
creepy
to this
movie.
day. Everybody to this day has to, like, if they're showering home alone, I do this shit. I, like, peek behind the curtain. Like, I'll do that shit mad time. I put shampoo in my hair when no one's home, and I'm like...
That movie definitely obliterated the shower curtain industry. And people were like, give me some sort of fucking cover.
Clear. Yes, no,
Yeah,
or some
glass,
clear shit.
something.
Yeah, glass. That's probably why the glass shower door was invented, because of fucking Psycho.
Imagine if that's why. Did you ever see The Birds? I haven't seen that, but that movie looks stupid.
No, but when we went to Universal Studios, if you go to the Alfred Hitchcock ride, I don't think it's there anymore, but they used to have 3D birds fly out of the screen. You put the 3D glasses on.
Because the idea sounds so stupid, but I know he was supposed to be really good. So, I don't know.
No, but I mean, have you ever fucking been walking on the sidewalk and one bird has flown at you?
Yeah.
And it's like it's attacking you. You gotta like fucking like imagine a whole shit ton of birds. That shit is possible.
I guess they like recycled that theme with all the other movies where it's like, you know, like that happens with the big bugs in whatever movie that was, Starship Troopers or whatever. It happens with like fucking spiders in other movies. Like they recycle that theme of like the herd of animals attacking.
Just attacking.
Yeah.
You ever get stuck driving when there's like some slow ass geese crossing the road?
No.
Oh, that's never happened to you?
No. The only geese story I have is when I was a kid. Somebody kicked a soccer ball and the goose was walking across the field and we didn't see it. And the soccer ball hit its neck and its neck just straight went total like decapitation type shit. I mean, it didn't break off, but the neck just crunch over.
Damn.
Killed a goose by accident.
You think he's dead, or do you think he's just got a fucked up neck for the rest
totally
of his life?
dead. He was dead.
Oh.
Immediately dead. It's like it's almost like if you took my neck and broke my neck completely, and my head just fell to the side.
He could have been on some Stephen Hawking shit where his just spinal was fucked up, and now he just fucking walks everywhere with his shit.
That
really
motherfucker was dead. The coach went over and was like kicking it, and it was just no life whatsoever. Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
We watched it. I was like in shock as a kid. I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah, that sounds bad.
I just remember the whole thing. Like, he kicked it, and the fucking, like, its neck really just straight, like a snap. Fell like a fucking tower falling sideways. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah, no, out here, I guess it's a Midwest thing, but like every time, like in the mornings, all the geese just fucking cross the fucking street.
Yeah, train those geese, man. You got to get your geese human broken.
They go so slow, and you can't drive around them, and both cars are stopped, and there's like 40 of them that fucking cross the road.
Geese are funny.
I think I have some pictures of it. I'm gonna post a picture if I have one of fucking geese blocking my morning commute. They don't give a fuck.
The word geese is funny. I like that word. Makes me laugh.
What's the plural of it?
There's goose is singular, geese is plural.
And geese is.
The point that we always discuss is then there's moose, and it's not meese, it's mooses, which makes no sense.
Is it mooses?
It's mooses, yeah. Plural of moose is mooses.
Mouse and mice. As
opposed to mouse and meese. It's fucked up, man. English language, no consistent rules.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about vowels the other day, and it was just weird that like we have like an alphabet and structure, and like how Y is just like, yeah, sometimes I'm gonna be a vowel.
I like how in Chinese, like each symbol is its own thing. It's like,
oh, I don't think I can ever learn Chinese or Japanese. It's like you got to be an artist to be Japanese and write.
Oh yeah, because it looks so like ornate.
Yeah, this shit, like you can't.
It takes a longer time to write. It looks like.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Russian,
I think, is difficult too. I think people.
Yeah, Russian looks hard as fuck too. Yeah. They almost made it to the
I heard. But who is it?
World
France
Cup.
versus who?
France just won. Now England plays Croatia tomorrow.
Okay.
I think it's going to be France versus England.
France
in the
versus
finals.
England. That's some old
France
school.
made it through today. They beat Belgium.
That's some old school empire shit right there.
Yeah,
France versus England.
Yeah, I almost think Croatia might win just to fuck it up because England versus France is almost just like too perfect of a World Cup to have.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want Croatia now. Go Croatia, yay! I'm a big Croatia fan. All right, son. We gotta cut this off. I got
a poll for next week that I thought about.
Oh, hit me with it.
Do you keep your ketchup in the cabinet or in the fridge?
That's a good one.
Because I have a theory. Because I keep my shit in the ketchup.
You keep your ketchup in the ketchup.
It's time to end this. No, I keep it in the fridge because I've always liked cold ketchup.
Me too.
But if you go to any restaurant or anywhere,
yeah,
it's always on the table.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. I always felt like, well, obviously once you open it, you got to put it in the fridge, but you don't have to because every restaurant doesn't do that.
I know.
So it's got preservatives.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Mm.
All right, we'll do that. All right, guys.
Shout out to there was like a 68-year-old or 63-year-old lady that listens to our
I saw
podcast.
you respond to a tweet, and
man.
There's an older lady.
I'm like 60 something, and I listen to every minute in Carnival Corin, so she's still with us right here.
What's
I know
her
that
name?
for a fact. So it's me, you, and her.
Did you remember her name?
No.
Damn.
I could look at it. Hold on, no, I want to give her props because shout out to her.
Yeah, go ahead. Go find the name. I'll wait for that. We need to give her a shout out. Very special lady watching us. That's impressive.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, our audience is overwhelmingly male, so.
But it's just me, you, and her right now.
To have not only a lady, but an older lady watch us, that's pretty cool. You'll find it. You don't tweet that much.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to look at the part that says tweets and replies, not the part
that says... That's where I was just at, but I didn't see that shit.
Oh, okay. Because you probably responded directly to it.
Oh, that's true. Hold on. I'm going to get it. I'm determined now.
I'll sing for everybody. What's that song I mentioned earlier? Mariah Carey, Fantasy? How does that one go?
Oh, when you walk by... Was that it?
Sweet, sweet fantasy.
Oh, here we go.
Baby, you
Right
suck
when you-
in my balls.
Nancy Bernard, shout out to you right now.
What's your name?
C. Bernard.
C. Bernard?
Nancy.
Oh, Nancy Bernard. Okay.
Yeah, so you know she's 60-something years old with a name like Nancy. Shout out, Nancy. You're cool people.
Nancy, we love you. Everybody else, we love you too. And we will talk to you. Peace.